The Syracuse football coaching staff said, "Hey, Owen, over at Locked On Syracuse, we got an answer to some of your concerns with the Syracuse football team. The Orange go out in the portal, find themselves another quarterback to put on the roster, and put a little bit of the fire that I have lit out for the time being. Plus, we take a look at the latest with regards to Judah Mintz and the NBA draft. We are rolling into the weekend on a beautiful Friday in Central New York. Without further ado, let's get right to it.
Are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up? What's happening? Welcome into your Locked On Syracuse Friday episode. I'm Owen Valentine saying thank you so much for making Locked On Syracuse your first listen today and every day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, free and available wherever you get your podcasts. It's been a busy 24, 48 hours for Syracuse. Obviously, the big news yesterday with regards to Donnie Freeman joining the Syracuse basketball 2024 recruiting class, putting them per on three with a top 10 recruiting class at this point in time in the class of 24. And the football program said, you know what, let's do something ourselves, get ourselves back in to the mix in terms of energy, in terms of excitement, in terms of finding a big-time player. And that comes in portal quarterback, the South Carolina transfer. It's Braden Davis, the former three-star high school guy, part of the 2022 recruiting class out of Delaware. He was a four-star at ESPN, three-star in some other locations. He redshirted this past season, so he has the full 4 years of eligibility left. Now, this is something that Syracuse desperately needed, right? Jacobian Morgan hit the transfer portal. Justin Lamson, on the last day possible, hit the transfer portal. You've got some other things. Lenora Sellers decommits from Syracuse on signing day, right? Your quarterback room was incredibly sparse. It's Garrett Schrader, it's Carlo Del Rio Wilson, and it's a non-scholarship quarterback. You needed somebody else in the conversation because how often in Syracuse football do you see a backup quarterback start a game? And it's with a greater frequency than you might think. It happens quite a bit. And so the backup is crucially important at the college football level and at any level, right? It's a sport with so much contact, with so much physicality. Schrader's a guy that gets out and moves more than most, is getting outside the pocket, putting his head down, running a lot more than most quarterbacks, heightens the risk of injury. You need solid backups, and this is exactly what Braden Davis is at this point in time. He comes in, he takes a little bit of weight off of the shoulders, and a guy that can possibly compete with Carlos Del Rio Wilson for the backup spot. I will put my hand up right now. I don't exactly know who Braden Davis is at this point in time, right? He was a highly sought after recruit coming out of high school, which means a lot. And I think when you look at the offer sheet in high school, it's a very important thing. Bama's on that list. Clemson's on that list. LSU, Penn State, Tennessee, so many others on that offer sheet at this point in time. And right now, you've got him in Syracuse. We didn't see anything from him last year. We didn't see anything all too much from him in the spring game this season, which he played in for South Carolina and threw for 13 yards, 1 of 3 passing with an interception in their spring game. There are a lot of question marks surrounding Braden Davis, but I will say he answers a question in terms of what are you doing at the quarterback situation right now, because Del Rio Wilson, Schrader, and a non-scholarship quarterback are not enough human beings in your quarterback room to be a successful Division I program. And that is the problem that Syracuse had to answer. So even though there are question marks associated with Braden Davis, there are answers from bringing Braden Davis in at this point in time. My dog is going absolutely nuts in the background. We're going to go mobile one more time. We're going to take her out, and we will continue to talk. Right now, I say this puts out a little bit of a fire for Syracuse. I think this is a really good thing for them to be able to find somebody with high-level talent in terms of caliber, in terms of coaching, in terms of what's going on at this point in time. And that is what you get in this guy. And he comes in with some question marks, and you're probably not thinking that this is, the savior and the answer to every single question ever asked with regards to Syracuse football. But this right now is a really good start. And this is what you're looking for. And when you look at this situation right here, you've got now, hello, Skylar, everybody. This is Skylar. I introduced her once, but we'll bring her back on a second time. We've got right now a little bit of weight off of the shoulders. And I think that's what you needed. You needed some sort of answer right now for Syracuse football immediately. And that's what they got, right? When you got the Lamson news, when you've got the news that Lenora Sellers wasn't going to come here, that he was going to South Carolina, right? Syracuse and South Carolina have had a lot of moments recently in interactions. And we can get to this a little bit later too. Jatius Gear on the same day, within an hour of each other, Jatius Gear ends up at South Carolina, goes a little bit closer to home. The former Syracuse defensive end finds his way into South Carolina this upcoming season. I think that's a great get for them. They got a lot of talent, and they got a lot of things going for them. My one concern right now, and this is where I think things get kind of funky, is the South Carolina quarterbacks room was an absolutely loaded situation. 6 quarterbacks, a ton of stars, Spencer Rattler leading the way for all of them. And then you get the flip, right? And it's sort of weird how things come full circle. Lenora Sellers flips to South Carolina, goes close to home. And as a result, I think he pushes Braden Davis out. So as much as I was furious with Lenora Sellers, as much as Lenora Sellers threw Syracuse into the mixer as the top recruit for Syracuse football who flips on signing day, his commitment to South Carolina indirectly and directly at the same time brings Syracuse football its next quarterback on the roster. And that was sort of pointed out by Emily Liker over at Syracuse.com in terms of this sort of circling that happened and how you lose and you're frustrated. And then when he gets there as the 6th quarterback on that roster, which helps to add to the question mark that is Syracuse and the quarterbacks right now, with 2 scholarship quarterbacks on the roster before this Davis transferring, he brings him back here because he pushed him out, because of that competition there and a number of other reasons. So Lenora Sellers indirectly bringing Braden Davis to Central New York and to Syracuse football, something to be excited about, right? I have said many, many times I'm frustrated with Syracuse football. I've said many, many times I am angry with the state of Syracuse football, the coaches that have left, the players that have left, a number of other things, the players that they're bringing in, the net loss in terms of players. This is a positive. This is something that I can put my hand up and say, all right, I'm excited to see that this happened. I'm excited to see what happens next. And I think this could be, hopefully, the start of some upward trending for Syracuse football. I don't know if it will be. I don't know if it is. But right now, this is an answer. And I have been searching for answers and hoping to find answers with regards to Syracuse football. And it does seem like, for the first time in a little bit, we've got an answer that I'm really excited about. And a guy in Braden Davis with experience at a really high level and top-tier coaching and really, really good quarterback coaching that you can get from South Carolina. And it's fun because when we talked about it with Braylon Ingram, and even though he struggled and things like that, getting coaching from Alabama is tremendous. And that's something that you need to be excited about, even with the question marks. And I think the same thing goes right now for Braden Davis. It's a big time for Syracuse football. I don't know what exactly this means in terms of changing the success of Syracuse football for this season, but it does give you a little bit of life, I guess, because it answers something and it gives you something right now in terms of excitement. Let's see what happens from there. Let's take a quick break. On the other side, let's talk a little bit about basketball and our buddy Judah Mintz and what might possibly happen next in terms of Judah Mintz as we progress in the sort of watch, the NBA draft watch, and a number of other question marks that we have surrounding that. So let's take a quick break. On the other side, we'll discuss some Judah Mintz. Right now, if you're looking for a delicious snack but don't want all the sugar and calories, you need the best tasting protein bar ever. It's built. You gotta try this. If you're like me and you want to make healthier snack choices, but you don't want to compromise on taste, I've got just the thing for you. Built bars and Built Puffs. They're healthy and they taste amazing. They're so good you won't think they're good for you. And what makes them that good, for starters, they're covered in 100% real dark chocolate. That's right, it's real chocolate. And they come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and cookies and cream. I don't know how they do it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is they're healthy. 130 grams or 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait to get a box. For years, we've been talking about ordering Built bars at built.com, but now you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. Well, you can still get your specialty flavors at built.com. That's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section, and grab yourself a box of Built bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puff. And if you're close to Sam's Club, run in, grab yourself a 13-bar box with our hit flavors, brownie batter puff and churro puff. And then you can thank me later. All right. You're Locked On Syracuse Friday here. Owen Valentine, joined by the beautiful Skylar for a little bit longer as we finish up our Friday episode. We take a look to the NBA draft. And I missed this in some of the excitement of our interview with Naheem McLeod. That was on Wednesday. If you missed that, feel free to go check that out. Really good information out of him. Really excited to get him on. I liked his mentality. He's a fun guy to talk to, seems to get things a lot, and had some jokes for us as well. And then the Donnie Freeman news yesterday. This sort of got lost a little bit. Right now, we look at Judah Mintz, and he gets the NBA Combine or the NBA Draft Combine invite, which is exciting. It's what you wanted to see, but there was a big question mark of which Combine does Judah get invited to. And getting the NBA Combine invite as opposed to the G League, obviously, indicates a little bit more likelihood of being drafted, right? You're highly sought after. You're more wanted in that capacity. That's big news for Judah. It's exciting for him. But it also means that the likelihood of him leaving increases. And Joe Tipton, in an interview with Brian Higgins, talked about how he doesn't talk to Judah directly, but he has heard that he does not plan on coming back to Syracuse or coming back to college, right? He missed the date to enter the portal. So he's not going to transfer at this point in time. But right now, it does not seem likely, per Joe Tipton, that he's coming back. Now, could this be wrong? Yes. Did he say that this could be wrong? Yeah. But he did say the rumblings at this point in time suggest that Judah does not necessarily plan on coming back. Take that for what it's worth. I will say right now, the date to look out for is May 31st. It's my brother's birthday. May 31st, taking a look. That is the last time that Judah can come back. That's the last time he can say, I'm returning to Syracuse. I'm returning to college basketball. I'm pulling my name from the NBA draft process. That is the last day he can do that. And there is still a chance that he can do that. If I was to guess, I'd probably say 2/3, 1/3, with the 1/3 at this point being that he comes back. And I'll put my hand up. Right when the season ended, I thought he was going to be back without a doubt. I thought he'd be right back to Syracuse. The more I see, the more I hear, the longer it's been, the more likely I see Judah departing and staying in the NBA draft and figuring some things out. Right now, your big boards, your rankings, anywhere between like 29, which is a first round pick, and like 60 or 70. So there is some parity in terms of these rankings. And I think the Combine, which is happening in a week or two, is going to be incredibly indicative in that decision. If he comes to the Combine and he shoots the lights out of the place and he shoots the ball well and does everything else like we know he can, he's not coming back. He is a shoo-in. And people are going to, at the NBA level, if you're an NBA executive, if you are an NBA scout, if you're an NBA franchise, I think you'd like to work on it with him. If he's showing the progress and you got to do a few little things. If he goes to the Combine and he shoots poorly, doesn't make those adjustments, doesn't make the improvements that you'd need to see him make to really be a first-round caliber player, then he comes back maybe. And you get another chance at Judah, and you get to see that fun year two, Judah can go off type of year. And I think we're all excited to see what would happen with him, Westry, and J.J. Starling playing together as the trio of guards for Syracuse. I think that'd be incredibly exciting and puts them probably at a fringe top 25 team if they can sign a big, possibly Naheem McLeod. That's a very exciting squad, a very exciting team for Adrian Autry and company, who have been kicking butt and taking names in the 2 and change months since taking over. Right now, you look at Judah Mintz, and you look at a guy, and I will say this as many times as I need to leading up to the 31st. Judah Mintz is a player that has dreams of the NBA, right? If you're playing Division I basketball at a high level and don't have NBA dreams, I don't know why you're playing Division I basketball at a high level, right? This is the dream for a basketball player, is to hear their name called on draft night, to make it to the league, to play in the NBA. That is what you are here in college for, right? We're not denying that. And so if on the 31st, we figure out that Judah Mintz decides he's not coming back to Syracuse, or if even before that we decide or figure out that Judah decides he's not coming back to Syracuse, then we give him all the best and we wish him the best, and we watch the draft really excitedly to see what happens to our guy, Judah Mintz. That is what you need to do, right? This is a guy that can get paid. That is a guy that every metric, right? I told you the parity exists in terms of where he gets drafted, but there are very few people that are suggesting that Judah Mintz is not going to get drafted. And right now, that tells me everything that you need to know in order to get your name out there, right? If you need to go, when you're told that you're going to get drafted, you're told that your dream is going to come true on draft night, whether it's in the second round and you take the salary hit or whatever, it's hard to say no. And I get that. And I think we, as a Syracuse fan base, really do need to get that and understand that at this point in time. Right now, I am being bit under the table by Skylar. So we're going to bring her back up. We're going to see if she wants to sit and relax. She doesn't want to. She wants to play a little bit. I got 6 more minutes of recording left to do. You got anything to say? No, cutie. Okay. So right now, my prediction, as I said, says probably 2/3, 1/3 that Judah leaves. Could I be wrong? Very much so. Could Joe Tipton be wrong? Very much so, right? These are rumors. These are ideas. These are things that you need to look at. Is Syracuse dead if Judah doesn't come back? No, not at all. Does it hurt? Yeah, it stings, right? You want your best player back. Who wouldn't? You'd be insane not to want your best player back. But you're not dead. And I think that's a nod to the 2 transfers that you've found so far at the guard spot in J.J. Starling and Chance Westry, 2 guys that can be your starting guards. Plus, you look at a guy in Justin Taylor that can make the transition to a guard as well, and probably is going to be a guard / forward regardless of Judah this upcoming season. You look at a guy in Quadir Copeland, who we don't really know what the ceiling is for him, a guy with a ton of untapped potential that you really can see anything for in terms of what the rest of his collegiate career could mean or could contain. It hurts. I won't lie. I'm not going to deny that, losing your best player and what would be your theoretical leading scorer and your leading assists and your leader in steals, it hurts. No doubt about it. But I don't think Syracuse is dead. And I think they can be a tournament team with and without Judah Mintz. Is it going to be tougher without him? Yeah. Can they still do it? Should they still do it? I think very much so. They can still do it. And that's where we sort of start to wrap up our Friday episode here. A couple of other things. Cuse Women's Lax starts their NCAA tournament this weekend. Follow along with that on Saturday. Very exciting. Keep an eye on them. Keep some Tewaaraton watches for our friend Megan Tyrell and see what happens with that. You've got some other stuff. Cuse men's soccer is headed to Europe right now, playing in England a couple of or maybe a week or so in England to do some training out there. That should be really fun, really exciting. We'll see what happens with that. It's fun. It's a good time to be a Syracuse sports fan for a little bit right now. We'll see what happens. I'd like to see more from Cuse football. I'll call them out. I'm glad you did what you did. I'm excited that you brought in a quarterback. I think it's huge. I think it is starting to be a good sign, and I've been needing good signs. But Syracuse football, let me continue to call you out. I need a few more good signs. I need 3 or 4 more good signs before the season starts. I need you to find some players because we need some more life. People are going to tell me that I'm wrong. A lot of people agreed with me on that Tuesday episode where I went off or was angry with Syracuse football. A lot of people agreed with me. Some people claim I'm too harsh. I don't want to be harsh. I want Syracuse to win. I want watching Syracuse football to be a fun experience. I want going to Syracuse football games to contain a sold-out crowd like we saw a little bit this past season. I want that to be the expectation every single year and every single game, and the caliber that this team can be and the caliber that this program could be. So when I get angry, when I'm frustrated, when I call out Syracuse football, it's not me wanting them to fail. I don't want Syracuse football to fail. If I wanted Syracuse football to fail, I wouldn't be frustrated. I wouldn't be angry. I'd be celebrating. I'd be overjoyed. I'm angry because I want them to succeed, and I am not seeing them succeed. And that's where the frustration lies. So they got out. They found a quarterback that can help alleviate some of the quarterback questions as you move forward. And as Garrett Schrader enters the end of his career, and you look at a guy in Carlos Del Rio Wilson, and you lose a guy in Justin Lamson that could have competed for that backup spot and possible starter down the line, and you replace him with Braden Davis, 3-star or 4-star high school player, depending on where you look. He is, as our boy on MNL tonight says, Mr. Delaware, or the best Delaware player ever. Whatever. You've got 4 years of eligibility. It's like bringing in a 3-star high school quarterback. Still a little bit of a hit from Sellers. I think you could say naturally, as Sellers remains on the South Carolina roster and Davis does not. But it puts you in the right direction. That'll do it for our Friday episode. Take you into the weekend. Skylar, say goodbye. Say goodbye. Bye-bye, says Skylar. We're going to go outside. She's going to go for a little run. And we are going to enjoy a wonderful weekend. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Make sure you wish Happy Mother's Day to anyone who is a mother, expecting mother, is a mother figure, whatever you want to say. Wish the mothers a happy Mother's Day. They deserve it this day and every day of the year. Have a great weekend. Be kind. Make somebody smile. And I will catch you on Monday. Peace.